Hello, hello! Bl'Artagnan here with Invitation to Pleasure, the Act 3, Chapter 7, Part 1 Lufenia Plus fight. We're bringing a no BT, no synergy, no friend unit team. Ooh, spicy stuff. This is a challenge run, I guess, featuring Bosch, Lude, and Beatrix. Before we get too deep into it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Helps the channel grow, helps me out quite a bit, and makes the world a brighter place. So what do we got going on here? We're going to be basically doing kind of a ribbon strategy on Bosch, who normally just kind of walks around with 5 frame buffs all the time, so I figured Beatrix will just, bring him up to 6 and make him ignore that shrine. Combined with his lock, it means we're generally going to be not having to worry about that HP silence. Assisting him is, again, Beatrix, and we have Lude there to enable Beatrix's EX, and, most importantly, to check the orb, because he does have a stacking 5 stack buff. That said, it takes him like ages to get to 5 stacks, so we're going to bring in some tech here. We're actually using the Hope base and LD calls to boost the orb up a little bit. Because Hope, if you have enough buffs on the party, will always have his 5 stack overhead buff thing stacked up, and that checked the orb. So we got a little bit of extra time out of that. We also got some frame buffs on Beatrix and Lude, so that's kind of nice. That said, man, these guys take a lot of turns. The other reason I wanted to bring Beatrix was because they take so many turns, I wanted some off-turn damage. So I hope you enjoy seeing the Rose Petals animation, because you're going to be seeing a lot of it. Alright, fanfare number 2. We are now at 4 stacks. He starts with, what, 2? And he starts with 2 and gains 1 per use. I think when he gets his FR, they fix that up and make it better, but, like, golly gee. So here I make a little bit of a mistake. I actually forgot to use... Well, I didn't forget to use Beatrix's special HP+. I couldn't use her special HP+, on account of the orb being at 2. So we're going to go ahead and summon here. Probably could have done this earlier, but... we obviously don't want that orb going off. So we're bringing in the Mog call here to remove the HP silence from Beatrix. Mog, of course, will have a chance to confuse them if you have no debuffs on your party. But if you do have debuffs on your party, he'll cleanse the party instead. And the little utility call. Shoutouts to Excalibur for months ago pointing that out to me. Every so often it comes up. Alright, now Lude just needs to go one more time with his EX for us to not die to the orb. Can he do it? Can Bl'Art get through this summon without accidentally pressing his AA or using a call or something stupid? Almost hit Holy Knight's safeguard there. That would have been a stupid way to end the run. But it's okay. We got through it. The most difficult part of the fight with this team is over, which is not dying to the orb. Now that Lude's all stacked up with his EX buff, it's kind of going to be academic from this point on. We're only a third of the way through their health, but, they can't really kill us with Bosch just, boshing it up over there. And even if they wanted to, when the threshold comes around, now that I'm not worried about the orb, Beatrix can very easily and conveniently time her Holy Knight safeguard to ensure that we have nothing to fear. I actually intentionally didn't use the AA there on Lude because I wanted to maximize the length of time that he has those 2 buffs from Hope, the Hope call, because the longer they stay on, the longer he's immune to Shrine, and this means that if we can get them below 50% before those go away, hey, maybe they'll hit him with the, maybe they'll hit Lude and he'll just ignore the debuffs that they would have applied. So fingers crossed there, we'll see if we can get it to work that way. It's kind of RNG, but, I figure covers our bases, and probably is better. This team is so battery focused that, like, I'm not missing the lack of AA on him right now. Like, we're still capping already. The reductions in this fight are not very high. That said, I still am a big fan of this fight. I like what it's doing. This is kind of the stuff we've been asking for. There's specific requirements, both the buff thing and, like, the damage and the debuff they throw at you. So, like, there are things you need to get a team through this. You can't just, okay, you can Unga Bunga Garnet it, if you want. That's totally an option. But, short of bringing the most overpowered units in the game, you need to finesse your way through it. That's what we've been looking for. Like, of course, if you want to bring the best, if you bring the best units, the fights should be easy, and that's entirely fine. I'm talking about, like, kind of a step below that. If you're not bringing the absolute best maxed out, meta team, that's where I think a little bit of nuancing, creative thinking should be required. Anyway, that's me pontificating for a little bit. So we've gotten past the 50% threshold there. Beatrix kept us nice and safe, as you saw. Got hit by that debuff, which is kind of annoying, but it's okay. We can deal with that. Of course, the Lewd Beatrix Wombo combo is very good for keeping a team safe from HP damage over the course of things, although having Bosch there really makes it not a huge deal. It's mainly there. I mean, the main thing about the Holy Knight Safeguard is to get past the threshold attacks. I don't want them, like, rando double targeting Beatrix and killing her. Same with Lewd, I guess. Could happen. I know he has last stand, but, his health gets down there. Wow, he and Bosch and Lewd are tanky fellas, aren't they? Look at those hit points. Beefy boys. Anywho, what do we got going on here? We got another sacrifice. Luckily, once again, hope Beatrix keeping us safe. Unfortunately, she wasn't ribboned up, so she is going to take that HP silence, which is kind of a pain. It's especially a pain because she can't use her counterattack. Her counterattack doesn't happen when she's doing it, which is kind of annoying. Interesting thing, though, I noticed actually. I'm going to point out. Look at her skill. Saint Cloth, I think, would have still gone off there, and I could have used it to cleanse her, which would have been a nifty trick had I noticed it. Instead, I just used Unicall, because, why not? The reductions in this fight are low enough that you don't need to use crazy damage things like Kurosame or even Cyan to get through it. So you can bring like 4 cleanses via Mog and something like that if you want. But yeah, the key points of this fight, getting through it with this team, were ribboning up Bosch with Beatrix, using her the frame buff she applies, and getting Lewd up to 5 stacks using Hope Call and the Summon, and then I guess using with Beatrix her Holy Knight Safeguard to get past the thresholds without dying. Those are the big bits. We have once again queued up our Holy Knight Safeguards so that when we get B below 10%, which may happen before Beatrix's next turn. We're not 100% sure, but it might. We'll be nice and safe from that big scary Light of Judgment that comes down. We're at the point in the fight where I honestly could just start spamming Bosch LDs. Like, it's not like I'm worried about that buff running out, and it does the most damage in his kit, but I'm a conservative fellow by nature. And how? Speaking of being conservative, I refreshed Lancet there instead of using the LD. Just decided not to go for the jugular there, apparently. So it goes. Yeah, we didn't kill him, but it's okay. We have another Holy Knight Safeguard queued up, so we can go ahead now and refresh that buff. And I mean, we're getting there, guys. We're getting there. This was the interesting part of this fight. I'd say happened early on. The stuff with the Hope Call, getting Lewd up to 5 stacks. Beyond that, Bosch and Beatrix are just 2 really, really solid units, both defensively and honestly offensively. They're pretty good too. So, yeah, definitely enjoying bluing units feels good, but bluing units who you enjoy using, who are effective, feels even better. There we go. Mannequin's down. Infusing Spirit. This guy'd probably be dead if I had done this a turn earlier, because I could have charged Beatrix's EX, but here, it doesn't matter. That's fine. We're all good here. We're all good here. We're going to end things in style, bringing in Yuno once more for some extra damage before we go for the kill. Failing to get the kill. Failing to get the kill. And you know what? Let's end this properly with some fanfare. Well, there we have it. I hope you enjoyed this no BT, no synergy, no friend unit, no debuff immunity run. Might be a challenge, TC's challenge, who knows? We'll see what happens if they post something like that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Adios.